Welcome to another episode of The Best Revenge is Good Living podcast. Now, your host, Larry Oaks.
Let's talk about today about if poor people or people that came from nothing have tried to rule the world. Hitler, Mussolini, basically even the Rothschilds came from nothing. And what makes people think then that the rich wouldn't try to rule the world? It boggles my mind. I don't understand that if somebody who comes from nothing would raise themselves up through poverty and through strife and struggle and get to the pinnacle of what it is they're trying to do and have ambitions to control and rule the world, that you wouldn't think that someone who is a billionaire or 100 millionaire, 100 years ago, whatever the case may be, just super wealthy, wouldn't themselves or their kids or even their kids, their grandchildren, wouldn't come up and attempt to rule the world. And the reason, in my opinion, and all this is my opinion, but the reason why I believe that you have, and there's no doubt that these people that I mentioned, plus all the other ones that you can think of, are the most heinous people on this earth and did despicable things. But the reason why you hear about them and you don't hear about the rich, because they got the money. They own all of the media. Okay? The Red Shields own Reuters, Associated Press, and who disseminates all the information when it comes to journalism and news around the world? Reuters and Associated Press. So that's number one. Okay. But so what I want to talk about today is how do you get to that, to the level, whether you come from a wealthy family or you raise yourself from nothing and get to the pinnacles, how do you get to the point to where you want to control people, that you want to control nations, that you want to have this power? How does that happen? And I'm here to say it's about not challenging authority. It's about not questioning, not critically thinking, and just blindly obeying the so-called authorities. Okay? Whether it be teachers, professors, law enforcement, anybody who's in pastors, anybody, people, you need to understand that your subconscious mind will not accept a lie. It won't accept a lie. When people talk to you in half truths, or they talk to you in double talk, or they talk to you in code, or they talk to you in spell, or they talk to you in any kind of language or type of communication, and they get you to blindly listen to them or accept what they're saying is true, and you don't do any validations, you don't do any research, you don't check what's going on, then this is the beginning. Okay? Now, this was said by one Rockefeller, and he was speaking to Aaron Russo. And Aaron Russo told a story prior to him dying, and he talked about how this person from the Rockefeller family approached him, attempted to soothe him into or lure him into the upper echelons of whatever it is, in this world, and told him basically the reason why the women's rights or the women's lib thing was started was because they could only tax half the population. And then and with the women working, now they have your children from as young of an age as they could. They couldn't get any younger to get your children in front of them. And the Jesuits are the ones that made the statement, give me a child till they're 7 and I'll show you the man and or woman. But this is their saying, give me a child till he's 7 and I'll show you the man. Because they know from, basically 0, but when your eyes open, 6 months, whatever, from 6 months to 7 years old, however they train you, that's gonna ingrain who you are. And nothing's gonna change that except for a death experience, like a near death experience or some type of deep religious experience. But the reason they made this statement is because they proved it. Okay. So they got your children, or they got our children, because I'm not no different than anybody else. I've got older kids who went through the whole thing, but they get your kids at 5 years old, and they start the process of grooming and sifting. Now, what do I mean? I mean that this system of elites or this the people that have control of the resources, things to make things, materials, right? I'll think of the word later. But they look for the easy targets. Okay. Now I'm going to explain something to you. I said, our subconscious mind will not accept lies. Now, whether teachers or professors mean to do it, or if they're just indoctrinated because of their, grooming, but it's generational. But whether they're lying to them on purpose or not, the kids and the people in general that are average students are the ones that will not accept something that doesn't make sense, that doesn't ring true. We all have a bullshit meter. They call it a gut feeling. They call it, sixth sense. They call it a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, it's our subconscious saying that's a lie. That doesn't, and it is in our computer. This computer right here is the most dynamic, intense, powerful computer that there is. And so a majority of the people, when they're being spoon-fed this bullshit, it doesn't ring true. So guess what? They either don't agree and they check out, or they do what I did and say, I'm just going to do the least amount that I can to get through this. C student, let me get the fuck out of here. But who else do you have? And we all seen them. We all grew up with them. We all know them. We have those super achievers, right? And they are the ones that graduate valedictorian and cum laude and all this other shit, right? And they go up there and they say the same fucking speech every commencement ceremony. And the ones, the presidents and all this stuff, right? Fine, good. That's who you are. That's what you want to be. Great. But you have to realize that you are the sift. You have to realize that you are the weak link. You are the mark. You are the easy target. Because why? You are willfully accepting the lies that your body and your mind is telling you is not right. Okay. So then you go through and then you graduate, you do 12 years. So you're 5. So you're roughly, 17, 18. And then you go on to higher achievement. Because if you got a 4.5, you're trying to get into an Ivy League, right? Or Ivy Leagues are searching you out. And so what happens? You go to the Ivy League, and I'm going to eliminate, I'm not going to eliminate, but I'm not going to even talk about the sororities and fraternities and these societies and these clubs, okay, that these Ivy Leagues have. So I'm going to leave those out. So what happens is you have the quote unquote cream of the crop when it comes to academics, the 4.0 plusers, right? Who, what? Typically, if they're male, you know, they're not into sports or jockish, right? Or athletic. And I'm being a little bit, you know, lumping everybody in a thing, but you know, they typically don't have a lot of friends, and if they do, they're people that are similar to them. And if you're female, you're usually that little tattletale. You're usually that little, what they call kiss ass or whatever you want to call it. You know, that little, ooh, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not wearing your mask, right? Even though you're fucking, every sense of your being is telling you this is bullshit, right? Every sense in your being is telling you this is, you know, it's bullshit. And so, but what happens is you get to these, they now that they're what you call adults, now they want to get to a career. They want to get to a point to where they can get out of mom and daddy's house and they can be on their own. And then what does that take? It takes money in our society and you know, a job or create a business or whatever the case may be. But you have these entities. Herein comes the entities. And who are these entities? It could be a professor. It could be a professional lecturer, or somebody, you know, like an author, or somebody who's got a product or a business out that's doing a tour. It could be somebody from a lettered agency, you know, from the ones that we know and the ones that we don't know. It could be from this country or from another country. And they're going to these people not just because they're super smart, but because they already groomed them and they already know that they are going to accept the lies. And because they sifted them, now they got their pull. And so they get into these jobs, these you know, government jobs, or these corporate jobs, and all through from A to Z, right? From government to private in the corporate sector. And you got the money, you got the little, you know, the little plaques on the wall, you got the PhDs and the masters and all the things, you know, that you're looking for, the doctorates and everything. And you got the job. So now, are you going to allow yourself to lose that job? Or are you going to go ahead and continue to eat the shit that you have to eat in order to do what it is that you want to do, or be the person that you think that it is that you want to be? And that's how they got you. Simple. You're willfully accepting the lie. Willful ignorance. In the face of your gut feelings. And so, because you are so trained and so proficient at accepting the lie, at doing what it is you need to do, and sacrificing and working hard and using your intelligence and building the intellectual property that you possess to bring to the table, they have got you right where they want you. Because so then here's the third part. Here's the ending. You have the dream life, and then it's threatened to be taken away from you. And or you're put in a situation because you're a little bit naive, or because you're unexperienced, or because you want something, and you're putting it in a compromised position, and you're now compromised because you either did it or you didn't do it, or they're threatening you, or you're scared, or whatever the case may be, right? So now they got the goods on you because you don't want to lose what you have, and you don't want to be exposed, or one or the other, or both, or a combination of all. Okay. So then what do you have? You have, let's say, technology. Damn near everything. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say everything that we have, as far as technology, as far as science, as far as tools, as far as everything, was created by the government, through the military, through some arm, through some, you know, dark, you know, funding, whatever the case may be, whether it be, you know, sent money given from Congress or not. But they come to you and they say, here's this super smart person and they, say, hey, you want to partner up? I have this idea, or I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, knowing that you are going to figure it out, because this is the the equation that they put in front of you. Knowing that they give you just that little bit of much, and you figure that out, and because these people are driven and they're smart, and because we live in the days that we live in and the technology, and we have everything that we need to basically make it it's as simple as it can be to build a business, or to build wealth, or to do something that's going to give you, wealth in this world. And then they introduce their technology through you, and you really think that you created it. You really think that you brought this to the world. And some people even know that they didn't. They're just willing to be that front guy, right? They're willing to be, because they want that title, and they want that compensation, and they want that power, right? And mostly it's power over people, because if you've spent your whole life not living, when I say sacrificing, I'm talking about, where you're putting all your work into achievement, academic achievement, okay, that you forego your childhood, or your teens, or your early 20s, hell, even into your 30s. So now let's say you're middle-aged, and you've went through a marriage, or you've never been married, so you could take any scenario that you want. But at the end of the day, this is how you get these people in journalism. You get these people in the chiefs of everything, whether it be law enforcement, whether it be city council, whether it be whatever it is that you want, from the private sector to the government sector, whoever the head of any division. I mean, that's why they give these titles, because it's like, here's your gold star, right? But it gives you power, and it gives you a good compensation. It gives you leverage over people. And when you give this combination to human beings, without fail, they are going to, for the most part, take advantage some way, somehow. Majority of people, as they get older, they get in their later years of their life, they're regretful, and that's how you have all these people like, oh yeah, I knew this was happening, but I couldn't, or I didn't, or I should have, and blah, 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 blah. Because now they're trying to make things right, because they're getting ready to see their maker, and then that's where all the, Clinton sides and all these, theories come about, because you have these people, and the barrel is just being refilled and refilled and refilled and refilled, because they have this down to a science. It is down to a science, and so this is how we end up where we are today. And so I'm going to end today with where we're at, but I'm going to break this down even deeper. If anybody remembers Cloward and Piven, there are two professors who created the way to break down the family, break down people and generations, so that they depend on the government. I'm going to get into that next, but don't not listen to your gut. Don't not listen to your sixth senses. Understand that you don't want to accept what you're hearing, and you don't want it because it's a lie, and your subconscious is telling you that it's a lie. Call bullshit when you see bullshit. Question everything. Do your own research. And that's another topic I'm going to get into, is I say do your own research, but I'm going to tell you how I do my research and what I do. And I'm not no professional researcher, but it's a way to, before you make a mistake or before you make a decision, it gives you an ability to, get a couple of data points so that you can make an informed, or what they call an educated guess. All right, guys. So for the next Revenge is Good Living, I'll check you out soon. life, the best revenge is good living. This has been another Pure Entertainment production. All names have been changed to protect the innocent. Remember to like, share, subscribe to that bitch. Peace.